きこもりと戦闘狂ルートは私がセシル様を楽しませるべく腹踊りでも土壌すくいでも習得してみせます。
またわからない単語が。
さあクロ、こちらからも印をやっておしまいですわ。黒の好きないなり寿司をあげますから。
なんだかよくわからないことになってきたけど、ありがたく享受することにしよう。じゃあ黒、頼めるかな。
Observation log episode number 10, guys. Legitimately, and I mean no sarcasm, this episode was so good that I would be okay if this was the final episode of the season. Now, my worry going after this episode is I hope they don't ruin what they did here on this one. Now, this episode not only gave us all the different routes that could have happened if what happened between Cecil and Bertia didn't just occur, right? At the end of the episode, they gave each other their seals. Cecil was able to put together what does the, what do they call it? Maiden of Destiny. What is that? What does that mean exactly? Like, we were able to kind of put all of that together on like, what does the Maiden of Destiny actually mean? And it was the spirits kind of putting a seal on each of the individuals. So the bird would have put a seal on Cecil, and Cecil would have put a seal on Heroia, but instead that ends up being Bertia and Cecil. So that's what the Maiden of Destiny was, which we got to see at the end that Cecil put it all together. So that was definitely good. Now, what made this show special, though, is because we got to see all of Bertia basically running Cecil through all the different routes that could have happened with, you know, 𝐒𝐡𝐴, or could have happened with his brother, or could have happened with one of the other dudes in his party, right? Heroia had many different routes, and we were able to see what would have happened to Cecil if those routes were to happen, right? One was he became a warlord. One is that he just ran away from the kingdom. One, he became like an alchemist. So we got to see all of those different routes. So it was definitely eye-opening to be able to see, okay, what was supposed to happen per the game. Almost all of the routes led to some kind of war, and then led to him and Heroia, or Heroia kind of, you know, saving one of the major routes outside of Cecil, where that was his primary route. And, you know, her biggest worry was like, okay, here's all the things that led up to that. But now he has the knowledge of war, and he basically kind of stopped the things that need to happen. And at the end of it, the person that he was in the game, he's not been for a very long time. So he was able to kind of see that how his personality is and how each of the different ones kind of make sense in a way. And all of those are just simply pointing to him just not being that anymore, which he appreciates. So then he basically draws in Bertia to him. He gives her his whole kind of like spiel about love and how they feel. And he finally gets it out of her that she does in fact love him. And now they're pretty much stuck together, and she puts a tracker on him. He puts a tracker on her, and they're able to basically see where each other are going to be at kind of like forever. And he calls it obsessive, and he's like, yeah. And he loves how she just basically doesn't even like really react to the obsession part of it. And it was just a really, really cute moment. So, you know, being able to see the different routes, being able to see Heroia and the different steps that she was going to take in all the different routes is all really interesting. Now, where I say I was cool with it being the end is them kind of making this proclamation to each other. Even with Bertia screaming at the end, which is really funny. Making this proclamation is good enough. Now, since we're going to get a little bit more, where I think they're going to be they could do a really good job of is what's going to happen to Heroia now. Now she's lost her spirit, right? Physically and emotionally. Now she's lost her spirit. What does that mean for her? Are they going to be able to talk to her to get her out of, okay, you're not the protagonist. You're not the heroine. What are you going to do now? That's going to be an interesting dialogue to have. Is a war, maybe not the war, but is a war still going to break out, and how Cecil going to navigate that? And then I think we might be able to see Bertia and Cecil's actual wedding take place. Now, she still needs to graduate. She still has one more year. So they may just inaugurate her as like the crown princess type deal. But I would love if by episode 12, they do like a major time skip and we're actually able to see their wedding. And like we have an official ending of the show. Like no doors left open, no chance for season 2, just let's close it out. I think that would be the best case scenario here. But regardless, I think this episode is a 9 out of 10. I loved seeing the scenarios. I love seeing the outcome. I love seeing the spirit, Maiden of Destiny tags. I love seeing their banter between each other. I love Cecil's awakening, and I love the way Bertia is finally just coming to grips with like, okay, this is my man's essentially, which you really love too. And obviously Bertia being just dumb as a doornail just makes it all the more funny. And this is definitely a show that I definitely want more villainous shows to take note of, as being doing a villainous story, but then doing it through like the male protagonist or the female protagonist that is not our main character. Like, see, like the story being told through Cecil's eyes has been exponentially so unique and really done really well. So really, really appreciate it. So yeah, 9 out of 10. This was one of the best episodes of the season, and I think this is so good that it could have even been the ending. That's all I got for you guys. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. See you next week. Peace.